100 questions about a will challenge.
Your Honor, if I could call Boris Goldstein to the stand.
Boris! Where are you? Oh, welcome, Boris.
Seeing as this scenario is entirely fictional, and you will not be telling the truth, do you affirm that you will give entertaining testimony today?
Yes, I'll try.
Great.
Thank you.
Mr. Goldstein, I'd like to call you Boris, if I might.
Of course.
Now, you are the son of Igor and Sophia Goldstein.
Yes, I am.
And you have an older sister, Riva.
That's correct.
And you're aware that this litigation involves the transfer of your mother's house to you and a will which she did in 2014 in which she left everything to you.
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about your sister, Riva?
Yes, we've never really had a lot of contact over the years. We've spoken, and I've seen her at family functions from time to time when I've visited my parents, and that's about the extent of it.
Sorry, just 1 second. Is that a Yiddish accent? I can't quite. Okay, never mind. Keep going.
He's a musician. You might have seen somebody who looked like him. I understand that your father passed away in July of 2009.
That's right.
And what did he die of?
Heart failure.
And can you tell me what happened after your father died, where you were living, what you were doing?
Yeah, so what happened was I received a call from Mum in around 2009 informing me that my father had passed away from heart failure. I wasn't shocked because he'd had heart issues for quite some time, and I'd visit my parents every opportunity I had as they were getting older. Around that time, I was living in the US for one of the high-flying investment firms. It was a very stressful time because there was a lot going on in the markets with the recession and everything. And my mum had explained that my dad had died, and she was finding it more and more difficult to live alone. And she said to me, Boris, you're a good boy. Can you please, you got to quit your job and come back and move in with me and help me out because I just can't do things the way I used to do them anymore. So, although it was a difficult decision for me to make, my mum's well-being was first and foremost. So I gave up my job in the US and returned to live with my mum so that I could help her out on a day-to-day basis. So
you left your job in the United States and moved back to Thornhill to be with your mum?
Yeah, that's right. It was a very difficult decision, but I had a good life in the US, and it was a very important job, making a lot of money. But I thought, my parents raised me, gave me a good university education, and it was time for me to return home and take care of Mum.
And what about your sister? Was she involved in taking care of your mother?
No, she wasn't really involved. There was a little bit of a falling out. After my father had died, there was some issue around the shiva. We'd asked my sister to, well, I shouldn't say we, my mum had asked my sister to do shiva at her house, and she'd refused. So I ended up having to run around doing a lot of getting the house in good shape and everything else, so that we could do shiva at our family home.
And how often did you see your sister, or did your mother see your sister after your father passed away?
Not very. I don't really recall. We very infrequent.
And what were your observations of your sister's relationship with your mother?
It seemed very strange. Anytime my mom talked about my sister, she got quite agitated, and quite often she just didn't want to talk about the subject.
And where your sister, I understand, lives in lives in Ontario. Why didn't she come and help your mother?
She just said that, you know, my sister has 2 children, so from what I'm told, you know, the 2 children, she said that she was very busy with the 2 children and her husband, and she just didn't have the time to come and visit anymore.
And you said that you moved in with your mother after your father died. What relationship did you have with her then? Can you describe your mother, what you did together?
Yeah, we had a great relationship, and as I mentioned, although it was hard to give up the fast life in the US, I traded that in for some real good quality time with Mum. You know, we'd play board games. She was a great chess player, actually. And you know, the old story, I could never beat her, which was she'd always beat me at chess, and you know, she'd always say to me, "You're a great, you know, you're a great son. You're a great son, but you're a lousy chess player." Also, we'd travel together in the community. She'd actually drive me around from time to time to visit all the friends. She had a very busy social life, actually, and it was just we had great times together.
I take it she can still beat you at chess.
Sorry, what was
I take it she can still beat you at chess.
She has slowed down a little, and we do play. And actually, I actually now do beat her from time to time. But I still love the old story that she tells me when she says, "Son, you wouldn't believe it. Your dad beat that guy. What's his name? I think Bobby Fischer." And she loved telling me that story.
Now, Boris, are you working now?
No, I just don't have the time.
And why don't you have the time?
I'm just so busy with with Mum, and you know, I take her to all her appointments, and between taking her to appointments and taking care of the house, I just don't have the time to work anymore. So I've actually had to just dedicate my time to my mum for as long as she's still on this earth.
And how do you manage your own finances then if you're not working?
Well, I have a little bit of a originally when I'd left the US, I'd asked to take a leave of absence, but because of the recession and everything that was going on in the markets, my company they said, "Boris, you're kidding me. We just can't give you a leave of absence at the moment." But they did take care of me financially, so I do have a little bit of money in the bank. So I now live well within my means, and I get to stay with Mum in the house. So I use my own money from time to time and contribute to the expenses around the house.
Do you pay rent to your mother?
No, I don't pay rent. She insisted that I stay with her for free because I gave up my place in the US. But I do contribute heavily to the expenses, and I try to take it out from time to time for various meals and things to restaurants. And although I don't pay rent, I guess we do share the financial burden of day-to-day expenses.
Now, when you started living with your mom, was she managing her own finances?
No, my dad had taken care of the finances for many, many years. So when I moved back home, that was one of the areas where she needed some help. So that was one of the reasons she gave me the power of attorney, so I could help out with the finances and taking care of the bills.
Now, we understand that your mom is fluent in Russian and has some English. Is that your understanding of her background? What's her education?
Yeah, she's fluent in Russian, and we converse often in Russian. Although she does speak English, I would say enough to get by.
Okay. Now, you said you took her to her medical appointments. How often would that be, and who was her regular doctor?
I believe she saw Dr. Slate, and we'd we'd go to visit the doctor usually, once a month, or if something popped up where she had some issues, we'd attend to the doctor's office.
I think you may have got Dr. Slate mixed up with Dr. Smith, who was, I understand, her usual medical doctor. But I understand that she did see Dr. Slate, who was a geriatric consultant, I believe sometime in early 2013. Can you tell me why she went there?
She went to visit Dr. Slate because she was becoming a little bit forgetful.
And can you tell me, did Dr. Slate and or your mother share his findings with you?
Yes, he just said that she was becoming a little bit forgetful, but he didn't see any major issues. He just said, he put it down to age.
And was she given any follow-up or prescribed any medications?
No, there was no. There wasn't really any follow-up and not much. I think she was just on medications, but not for her memory. And no, everything was fine. At that point, she still had a driver's license, and she was still driving a car, and everything seemed fine.
That's fine. I understand our judge has to get to a golf game. He has an early tee time, so apparently we have to speed up a bit. Your mom had an accident, I understand, in March of 2014, and she had a very serious head injury and went to hospital and was there for 2 months. Did you visit her there?
Yes, I did. I visited every day.
And can you tell me how she was at hospital? Was she comfortable there?
No, she was very agitated, and she just wanted to return home. Every day she'd say, please, Boris, please get me out of this place. I want to go home.
Do you understand it? Do you know if she had any Russian nurses, somebody who could converse with her?
From what I understand, there was nobody in the hospital to converse with, and she looked forward to spending time with me so that we could speak in Russian. And
did your sister visit her in hospital?
No, she'd emphasized the fact before she went in there. She said, Boris, whatever you do, please, respect my wishes. I do not want to see your sister in the hospital. She just agitates me and gets me upset, and I just don't need that right now.
Okay, she was discharged and sent home, I understand, with you. And was there any follow-up given? Were there any medications? Was she required to see anybody special?
Not from my recollection, no.
So you didn't take her to any special appointments after that?
No.
Now, I understand that they did tell you that she had early-stage Alzheimer's. Can you describe your mother's health and mental behavior before she went into the hospital and after she was discharged?
Well, as I say, before she went into the hospital, as I alluded to earlier, we just lived a normal life. She was elderly and a little slow. And then when she came out of the hospital, I did notice that she'd slowed down quite a bit, and she was a little more, she was a little bit more forgetful. But she seemed fine to me. Some days were better than others. She had good days and bad days.
And I understand, because we're running a little quicker here, you have a power of attorney for property for both your mother and your father since 1997.
That's right.
And it was given to you alone and not to your sister.
Correct, yeah. Yeah.
And sometime after your mom was discharged from hospital, you used that power of attorney to transfer your mother's house to you. Can you tell me why or how that occurred?
Yeah, she'd been telling me since 2009, since my father's death, that she wanted me to have the house. And I would just acknowledge it and nod. And then in and around the time when she'd returned from the hospital, she was adamant that the house go into my name, and she wanted to give me the house. She said, Boris, you've given her everything up to take care of me, and I really want you to have this house. I want you to have a place to live when I'm gone, and I hope you can, I hope we can stay in the house, until my demise, and I hope you continue to live there after I've gone. This house has been in the family for many, many years, and she wanted me to have the house.
And why did you use the power of attorney to transfer it?
The reason I used the attorney is because it was more for convenience. She said, you have the power of attorney, you're able to transfer it, just go ahead and do it, Boris. And at that time, she just didn't feel like, leaving the house as much as she had before.
And you contacted a friend of yours, Ms. Callahan, to do the legal work. How do you know Ms. Callahan?
Miss Callahan and I went to university, and that's where we met there. We became friends because she spoke Russian and I spoke Russian, and we'd stayed in touch ever since.
And did your mother know her?
Yes, my mum had met her back when I was, from my university days. From what I understand, they'd stayed in touch and become friends.
And I understand you produced some postcard that your mum signed related to the house. Can you describe that and how that came about?
Yeah, I came down one morning again. The house issue had been on her mind. She kept, as I said, she was adamant that the house go to me, and she presented me with this postcard one morning and said, "Boris, just in case anybody asks, here's a postcard documenting that I want you to get the house." Okay,
now in August of 2014, your mom signed a new will, and I understand that you contacted Heather. Contacted Ms. Callahan to initiate that. Can you tell me what transpired after that? When your mom, how Ms. Callahan came to do the will?
Yeah, so I contacted Miss Callahan and advised her that that mum wanted to do a will, and she said no problem. So she attended the house to sit down with my mum and take instructions around the will.
Did you discuss the will with Miss Callahan or provide her with any instructions?
No, I didn't think it was my place. I thought, these are mum's wishes and I'll let her deal with the will.
Did your mother tell you what she intended to do?
Yeah, she said that she wanted to leave me everything.
And the meeting took place. Were you present during the course of the meeting between Miss Callahan and your mom?
I was in the house, but I was in another room. I just didn't want to interfere, or I just didn't want to interfere in the process.
And there was another meeting when I understand Ms. Callahan brought someone else to the house as well, and the will was signed. Do you recollect how long after the first meeting that was?
I think it was shortly thereafter, and they pulled in Mrs. Smith from across the street, who's the neighbour, and I believe that she was one of the witnesses to the will, from what I'm told.
And were you present when the will was signed?
Again, I was in the house, but I stayed in the other room out the way.
So you really had no actual involvement in the will?
No, not really.
And how is your mom now?
She's okay. She's a little slow, and we don't, as I say, we don't get out as much, but we still, try and play some board games, and she still sits there and shares lots of stories, but she does sleep a lot more than she used to, and seems a little bit more confused.
And one final question. You know that Dr. Schulman has provided expert evidence in this matter. Did you ever meet with Dr. Schulman?
No, I never met with Dr. Schulman.
Did he ever ask to meet with you?
No, he didn't.
Okay. Those are my questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Get ready now. This is my favorite part of a trial, like when they really go at you,
Be nice.
Yeah.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Goldstein. Let's get started then, shall we? In the spirit of shameless self-promotion, however, and of course, Your Honor, not an attempt to bribe the witness in any way, I'd like to offer him a grape soda.
A grape soda?
Oh, thank you, Miss Whaley. Please.
That beats the heck out of your thing, Hull. Oh.
And, Your Honor, if you would indulge, I have a grape soda from my friend, Mr. Hull.
Excellent. I like when the tables are turned. That's why I got into this job.
So I want to start by asking you a few questions about your mother and her usual activities, and then we'll work from there. Okay, sir?
Yes.
I understand your mother is a religious woman. Is that true?
That's correct.
And she goes to synagogue?
Yes, I take her there quite often.
Still?
Yes.
What religion would that be?
That's a good question. What religion would that be?
I believe Jewish.
Oh.
And she reads scripture?
I think from time to time.
In what language, sir?
I believe it's in Russian or Yiddish.
And you're aware of the report of Dr. Schulman in these proceedings?
Yes.
And you're aware that Dr. Schulman's evidence is that your mother quotes from the Bible?
I believe so.
Really, sir? And that she goes to church?
I haven't read the report in detail.
I see. I understand that your mom used to hold dinner parties and liked to entertain regularly. Is that true?
Yes, she did have a lot of friends in the community.
Does your mother still host dinner parties?
No, not as much. She's a little slower than she used to be.
So it's fair to say she's slowed down.
She's slowed down.
Isn't it true, sir, that by 2013 her regular activities, including those just mentioned, had almost ceased?
No, from what I recall, when we spoke on the phone, as I say, I was in the US, but when we spoke on the phone, she seemed to be out and about quite a lot, and she still drove.
What about in 2014?
Again, she was still driving up until the accident, so she was still out and about with in the community and meeting
What about
friends.
after the accident, sir?
After the accident, she still had a license.
And she drove, sir?
Could probably wait till that guy this guy answers. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Your Honor, with respect, he's my witness, and I'll ask the questions.
She's a tough one, eh? Go get him.
By the way, it's true, sir, isn't it, that you were unemployed throughout the time you've been living with your mom, now in a house owned by you? Correct?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Isn't it true that you were unemployed throughout the time you have lived with your mom, now in your own house?
Yes, I'm unemployed. I just don't have the time to work. As I mentioned, my entire day is
Yes or no answer, sir, would be satisfactory. By 2014, I understand that your mom was suffering from mood swings. Is that true?
I haven't really seen many mood swings.
How about personality changes?
She's slowed down.
Yes. Is she incontinent?
Yes, she is.
Was she in 2014?
No, that was after the accident.
Mom obviously needed your help, isn't that right?
Yes, she does.
It's true, sir, that you don't like Riva.
That's not true.
You like Riva?
I have no problem with Riva.
And it's true, sir, that you have no relationship with your niece and nephew.
I haven't seen them regularly, no.
And it's true, sir, isn't it, that your mom became suspicious of Riva in or about 2013?
I don't think so.
You weren't aware of that?
I wasn't aware of that.
But you are aware that your mother didn't want to see Riva during this time?
The only time that Mom mentioned she didn't want to see Riva was after my father died, and the whole issue around the shiva.
But your evidence earlier, sir, that you had a discussion with your mother before she went to the hospital, and your mother told you she didn't want to see Riva in the hospital. Isn't that true? Yeah, that was your evidence.
Yeah, that's correct. She didn't want to see Riva in the hospital because of the whole issue around the shiva.
And, sir, just one other question on that note. Your mom was taken to hospital by ambulance, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yes, she was.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, were you in the car with her?
I was in the ambulance when she was taken to the hospital.
Well, so tell me how you got to the ambulance. Were you
Well,
in the car accident?
No, but I got to the accident. The police called me, and I got to the accident very quickly.
Huh.
Is that a question? That huh?
Yes, Your Honor. It's a question in a way. Would it be fair to say, sir, that if you were not living with her, she would be vulnerable?
Yes, I would I wouldn't say vulnerable.
Yes, works. We can move on. Did your sister try to visit your mother while in hospital?
Sorry, what was that question again?
Could you try and listen, sir? Did your sister try to visit your mother while in hospital?
Yes, she did.
And isn't it true, sir, that you used your power of attorney for personal care to prevent Riva from visiting her mother?
Based on my mum's wishes, yes.
yes was satisfactory. Leave out the conjecture, please, sir. And it's true, sir, that your mother told you she was angry with Riva because she didn't come to Shiva.
That's correct.
And it's true, sir, isn't it, that you did not correct your mother's suspicions with respect to Riva at any time?
No, that's not. That's not true. I tried to speak to her about Riva in the past, and she just didn't want to talk about my sister at all.
Did Riva and your mom talk on the phone?
Not to my knowledge.
Did your mom talk to her friends on the phone?
Yes, from time to time.
But isn't it true, sir, that you disconnected the home phone sometime in 2013?
No, that's not true.
Where are you getting this?
I have the phone records here, sir, and the Bell records shows that it was disconnected in June of 2013. What do you say about that?
I think your records are inaccurate.
You know what I did? I got rid of the whole home phone thing. You got a cell phone now. You don't need a home phone.
So it's true, sir, that your father did all the banking before 2009. Is that correct?
Yes, he used to take care of the finances.
And it's true that your mother does not read in English?
She doesn't read in English.
She doesn't read Russian?
No.
She doesn't read Yiddish?
No.
And it's true, sir, that your mother can't write in English?
She can write a little.
And it is your evidence, sir, that your mom paid all the bills and conducted all of her own transactions, but for two from 2009 onwards?
Sorry, repeat that again, please.
It is your evidence that your mom paid all the bills and conducted all of her own transactions, but for two transactions from 2009 onwards.
No, once my father died, I returned home and I was taking care of the bills and transactions on her behalf.
But, sir, in the agreed statement of facts, it states that you conducted transactions under a power of attorney only twice.
Oh, I guess I was thinking of that as important transactions. I didn't think it was just day-to-day bills as well were included.
I see. But you do understand the nature of a power of attorney and what your obligations were under it.
Yes, to look after my mum's best interests.
Okay. It's true, sir, that your mother needed you and continues to need you today to cook for her?
Yes.
To grocery shop for her?
Actually, she still cooks a little, but I do most of the grocery shopping.
To clean for her?
Yeah, I do clean with her. She's just not as flexible as she used to be.
I'm not going to even ask a question there.
To administer medication, sir?
Yes, I help her with the medication from time to time.
To pay her bills?
Yes, I do pay the bills.
To drive her to medical appointments?
Now, yes.
To pay for your guitar instruction?
Sorry, to
pay for your guitar lessons.
My guitar.
Isn't it true, sir, that the real reason you moved in with your mom was because you bankrupted yourself, senselessly funding vocal lessons and guitar lessons in your successive yet failed attempts at becoming the fifth Beatle?
No, that's completely inaccurate.
He doesn't sound anything like a Beatle.
Question withdrawn. It's true, sir, that you lived rent-free in your mother's house, correct?
I live rent-free, but I pay a lot of the bills.
What bills do you pay, sir?
I contribute to the utility bills, the grocery bills, and just general day-to-day
Sir, in the agreed statement of facts, it says that you pay no money towards any of the household bills. So what is your evidence?
Oh, I didn't see that part. I thought it was just the rent. No, I don't think it is.
Your Honor, maybe we recess. Counsel and I have something to discuss. Never mind, we'll do it later.
Great.
Does your mother drink alcohol, sir?
Yeah, she likes a little tipple. She said, you know, if it was good enough for the Queen Mum to have a couple of gins, then it's good enough for her, and it helps make her feel good on a day-to-day basis.
And isn't it true, sir, and I suggest to you that it was, that you gave your mother Slivovich before she drove the car on March 12th?
Certainly not. She helped herself to that, and she liked, as I say, she liked a little tipple every day.
I had a bit of that before I sat down here.
I wish I would have.
Yeah.
But you would agree with me, sir, that your mother relied on you to help her make decisions, correct?
From time to time, yes.
And if you gave her a drink, she would drink it.
Who wouldn't? Sorry.
It depends if she was in the mood.
So let's go through was she in the mood that day on March 12th, incidentally?
Well, I believe so.
Yes, of course. In June, as we know, your mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and in June, you transferred ownership of her house into your name. So you were acting under power of attorney, correct?
Yes.
And did your mom know that her house was her main, if not only, asset?
I believe she understood all of her finances, and it was a wish for the house to go into my name.
Sir, can you tell the court how you believe that?
She told me on more than one occasion that it was a wish, that I was a good boy, and she really wanted me to have the house.
Yes, we know you were a good boy. Would you agree with me, sir, that your mother's house was worth more than $2 Canadian?
Yes, I would say that's accurate.
But you transferred the house to you, and you gave your mom $2, right?
Well, it was just a. I don't know whether I gave her $2, but she just she wanted.
So I'm sorry, sir. Did you just say you didn't even give the $2 to your mother? Is that what I heard you just say?
Well, I think that was just for documentation purposes.
Oh, so you didn't give the $2 to your mother.
So
the contract is void in any event. Moving on, sir. In the agreed statement of facts, it's conceded that your mother's capacity continued to decline in the summer of 2014. Is that correct? But then just a few weeks later, I'll take that to mean yes, a few weeks later, you contacted your friend Alana to do a will for your mom.
At my mom's wish, yes.
Yes, and you and Alana are friends, aren't you?
Yeah, we are friends.
More than just friends, aren't you?
No, we're just friends from university.
Ah, I see. Your Honor, shall I wait? I don't seem to have your attention, Your Honor.
Oh, I just noticed that the pop is kosher. It's awesome. Look, I got to get going. Are we almost finished?
Your Honor, are you asking me to sum up here?
That would be wonderful.
All right, then. Sir,
okay.
I have one final question for you today. You managed to get the house, for the moment, that is, Mr. Goldstein. Do you think you can get your yellow submarine, too?
I'm trying.
Thank you, Your Honor. Those are my questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Boris. I believe we are adjourning. I'd like an adjournment.